I'm excited to share with you some stuff today that I don't think I've shared in a while. Some of this is new information. Some of these are programs that you probably haven't heard of. And I want to start with this by saying, I think most people think of me as a luxury agent, and that is 100% true. I will sell the heck out of a lake property if you want to buy one. That being said, I help everybody that's in front of me and try to give the best advice possible. And there's some programs that I've seen recently, and there's some workforce housing needs that are just not being met in Austin, or people are hesitant to think of these as workforce housing solutions that I think are possible if you kind of follow these steps. So I'm going to walk you through a $350,000 buyer, new construction that makes about $45,000 a year, and explain to you how that person can be a home buyer. Most people don't think that's possible, right? Maybe they've got a 650 credit score. Maybe they don't have a co-signer, right? They're not sure what to do. So I'm going to use an example that I've got from some clients who are both Tesla employees. And I try to help everyone at every spectrum, but I'm really passionate about helping people that work for Tesla. I think that the work that's being done, transitioning to EV is huge. All the suite of businesses are really, making our world more sustainable for a longer period of time, and I hugely endorse that. The challenge is you get these people that are coming here and they just don't make the income. Maybe they haven't saved down payment. It's challenging, cost of living, etc. Here in Austin, that's tough. And I want to customize a solution because right now there's 18,000 workers at Tesla. Of those, 3/4 of them make $20 an hour. So you're talking $42,000 to $45,000. How can they not just find something to rent? How can we increase their overall wealth by getting them into a house to purchase? So I'll give you an example. 2 Tesla employees make a combined $45,000, or $45,000 each, combined $90,000 for their household. 2 friends kind of know each other on the job. Then they came to me independently, and they both thought they were going to try to figure out qualifying for a rental or maybe rent a place together. And I spoke to them. We looked at their credit score. They're over 640, so they qualify for an FHA loan. By the way, if you're looking at a conventional loan right now, you need at least a 720 or 740 credit score. So you can literally have 100 less points and still qualify for FHA. FHA means 3.5% down loan. And the other challenge was they had enough for a deposit on a rental, but did not think they had enough to qualify for purchase. Well, combined, they actually did. So we found a house in the neighborhood they were looking to rent in for $350,000. So this is a really pretty good priced home, 4-bedroom. And between the 2 of them, they qualified, but the down payment wasn't there. Well, there's a gift, a down payment gift, completely forgivable with an FHA program. So you can actually get in 3.5% down, so you're looking at about a $10,000 gift. I was able to negotiate with the seller to pay all the closing costs. So literally, we ended up putting down $3,000 initially for earnest money, $500 for an option period, and they actually at closing got back their earnest money because we were able to roll everything else in from the gift, from the seller contribution. So this is a really unique program. Now, they got in, both had under 700 credit scores. Like I said, both making $45,000 a year. And here's the plan. We closed on this property. Their total payment, PITI, worst case scenario, and we ran on full valuation on the purchase price, which hopefully their property tax comes in slightly less, but let's not assume that it will. So they came in at a payment just under $3,000 a month, and you think, well, it's $1,500 per person. How are they going to make these numbers work? Here's how we did it. They both qualified together, so you have to be okay purchasing this home with someone else. If you've got a trusted friend at work, a family friend, if you've got a parent, even if they're non-owner occupying. So your parent can act as a co-signer in this case, and you could do this technically on your own, get the down payment assistance, so your parent's just co-signing, or they don't have to add anything more to the monthly, and I'll explain how you do that. We look for a 4-bedroom home, and so we found a 4-bedroom home, $350,000, payment just under $3,000. So here's the math on how this works and how it's actually more affordable than each of the individual places they were looking to rent. When they were looking at rent, they could barely afford, they felt like 1,200 bucks a month, 1,100 bucks a month was really high. And for places in Austin, that was about what we were looking at. So pretty challenging to find that purchase price or that rental price. But $3,000 mortgage, how does this work? Because it's now $1,500 each to be able to contribute, except they have a 4-bedroom home. They have other workers they work with who are willing to rent each room for $700. So now they've got a $3,000 payment. They have $1,400 now being subsidized by 2 roommates. They get to carpool to work, and they're able to bring down their effective payment to really half of that, to like $780 each, plus utility bills. So they're spending $300 to $400 less a month on their housing. They have a home that they're going to share on the upside and equity side in, and that's great. Now, if let's say it was just one person making that $45,000, the debt to income ratio will not support that payment, but they can get a cosigner with a parent or a sibling or someone else that's willing to cosign. Even if they're not living in the home, they're able to get a gift and be able to take care of their down payment. I'm able to negotiate closing costs so they come out zero out of pocket. But how are they making that $3,000 payment? Somebody's got to make it without the parent stepping in. So now they have a 4-bedroom house, and there's 3 roommates you can get, times $700 per room. So now that's $2,100 a month subsidized that they can find of the 14,000 people that want to live closer to the factory, want to have a nice shared room, want to be able to carpool with roommates. So very easy for them to find the renters that can come in. And now they're getting $2,100 of their $3,000 a month subsidized, and they're out of pocket $900 as long as they can keep the renters in there. But they have access to those renters. So this works for, your kid is going to college and you want to help them buy something, cosign, and get them a home near school. We can help basically put the deal together, get the closing costs covered, get the gift. And now this is the cool part about the gift. And by the way, I forgot to lead with this. I'm not a financial planner. I'm not a CPA. I'm not a lender. I am not giving financial advice. I'm giving examples of what we've actually done with clients and how we've solved the problem and really hacked buying a house for people that don't think they have the capacity, the ability to do so. Down payment, lower than ideal credit score, and they're able to get in and purchase something. So for your college kids, they can do the same thing. You go in and get that house for $350,000, $400,000, payment of $3,000, $2,900, $3,300, and now their roommates are paying the $700 or $800 per to be able to stay in that home, times the 3 other bedrooms. So now you're subsidizing significantly, and your child, the gift of that is when they graduate in 4 or 5 years, they have got the equity in the property. You've been able to just use your credit to get them established and to grow their net worth. And the sad story actually about American people who are set to retire is there's so little savings out there that the majority of people who are retiring over the next boom that we have are getting the bulk of their wealth from owning their property for the last 30 years and watching what real estate does over time. So think about when you bought your first house. Were you in your mid-20s, late 20s, mid-30s? Well, now imagine you're 20 or 22 or 24 and you're figuring out how to get that purchase done now and watching that equity build a decade ahead of some of your peers. So starting that time now instead of waiting until a time when you've got 20% down payment, you're established, you're married, or you have a significant other and you have combined income, just know that you don't want to wait to buy. You want to buy and then wait, okay? Time is gonna pass for all of us. I'm 52. We've owned a number of homes. We have a number of homes currently. I don't regret the ones that I have bought. I regret the ones that I've sold. We had a beach house in California. We sold it. It's worth 3 times what it was when we sold it. Every bit of property that I've sold, I look back and go, oh man, if I just hung on to it, right? That's just reality. You talk to your grandparents or your parents and, oh, well, they bought their house in 1970 for $100,000 or $50,000 or whatever, and now it's worth $800,000. That's reality. It's an inflation hedge. And realistically, for most people, it's their number one way that they can even possibly retire. And if you can give your kids a leg up, or if you are out there thinking I'm gonna wait 10 more years to buy because I don't have the resources, don't do it. Give us a call. Happy to hook you up with the people that actually put these things together, that were able to work out these deals for our clients. It's life transformational, and you can become a homeowner at whatever your age. So you saw the meme, if this potato can turn into vodka, you can become a homeowner. Swear it's that easy. And it's fun. It's a really amazing kind of prospect to be able to have that as a possibility and watch your equity grow over time. The other part, so buyers have said, okay, why should I move now, right? My arguments from buyers last year is I don't think we've hit bottom. I think the market's going to continue to go down. Well, I can tell you with pretty good assurance that the bottom was 2 months ago. It's right now, we're in February of 2024. I just sold a property off market for over $2 million for a price that the previous listing agent last year could not get, and I sold it in 2 weekends off market with marketing to the top 1,000 agents out of 22,000. A sign out front and a few emails. That's how much the market has changed since last month. What I'm seeing anecdotally, but I'm talking and I'm connected with a ton of agents at every price point, and we're all seeing things transact much faster, and in some cases at multiple offers. So that's one argument. People said, I'm going to wait for the market to go down. The other one is I need to wait to make sure I have enough money for the down payment. I've just told you we can solve for that. That's the impactful thing, and why this is truly focused for those of you that don't think you can be a homeowner, and maybe you watch these videos and think, yeah, one day I'll be able to buy a $10 million house if I work long enough for Tesla and my stock goes crazy. You really don't have to. You can be at the entry-level job, and we can figure this out. And then the other one, people are like, I'm waiting for rates to go down. That's what I heard mostly last year. I'm waiting for rates to go down. I'm waiting for rates to go down. You and everybody else. Okay, 2022 hit. Rates went up 2% in the first quarter. The buyers froze. Everything stopped. But guess what? We still had 60,000 people moving every year to Austin for jobs. Okay, this wasn't because they're moving here to work at Taco Bell and live in a trailer. These are people that are moving here for jobs that are likely, a good portion of them, going to turn into home buyers. Okay, they didn't in 22. 23, even worse, no absorption rate. Those buyers sat on their hands. Now we're in 24, we're starting to see signs of life. Rates went down to mid sixes, low sixes. All of a sudden, it looks like things are picking up, but they haven't shot up yet. And I think what's going to go on, and we'll look back at this video and you tell me if I'm correct, but I think when we hit a 5.5 or a 5.875 at a certain point, and it could be this year, it might not be till third quarter when we see those rates drop, but when we do, we're going to have multiple years of buyers in that cycle where they would have bought in 22, they would have bought in 23. Now they're thinking, okay, now I can buy in 24 because rates magically went down to 5.875. But those 60,000 that moved here in 22 and 23 and 24 are all now in the same buying cycle. And so what happens? There's no more inventory. We now have 3 months of inventory people talk about. The challenge isn't really having too much inventory, it's having no absorption. The buyers are frozen. People they think rates are too high. So what we can do is act now, solve for some of these problems. And by the way, for this gift, this 3.5% FHA, you close and rates go down by 2 points by the fall, you can refinance that immediately. That gift is forgivable. That $10,000, forgivable. It's an amazing program. Call me, we can walk you through it. I can connect you with the people that have these programs. But we can get that done. Also, with the sellers right now, we're actually getting sellers to pay enough points where we can get those interest rates down as well. We can get them down to something in the 5s currently, instead of waiting for the 30-year fix to magically go down to 5.5%. And then that flood of people gets in and becomes competition. Because once that happens, it's going to be too late. We're gonna have a rubber band effect where all 3 years of those buyers decide at the same time, bandwagon in and decide it's time to buy a house because now it feels like 5.5% seems like a good rate. And it's gonna happen in a month's time, and all of a sudden inventory is gonna increase and get absorbed so quickly. And then the other factor in, what happens long term? Do we have houses being built behind that? Right now, developers are frozen. So if you look at the numbers from 2022, we had 6,000 starts in the first quarter of 2022 in the city of Austin. Those turned into 2,000 starts in the first quarter of 23. I think when numbers come out this quarter, we'll be down to 1,500 starts, 1,000 starts, maybe 2,000 again, who knows, but definitely reduced from what we need to have. Now in the city of Austin, it can take 9 months to a year for those developers to even get a permit to build a house. And then the building, if it's super quick, will take 6 months, realistically more like 10 to 12 months. So it's going to take 2 years for the developers who are building new product to be able to start building again when they get out of whatever fear they're in and they're frozen right now, not buying, not building, right? So the market snaps back. We get the absorption rate that increases to 3 times its normal levels. And there's nobody in the pipeline producing those new homes. And they're taking 2 years to fill those. So it's going to become ultra competitive. Basically, everything that the Fed has done to try to lower inflation in a city like ours, where we have so many people moving here for good jobs, and that is continuing, it's going to create hyperinflation because all those people have been sitting sidelined. And the longer you wait for those rates to come down, the more competition you're going to end up in as rates come down and things get absorbed. And so I think, 24, I think we're going to probably see a 5%, maybe 10% increase whenever rates go down. They're saying maybe third quarter, which is unusual for third quarter to be robust, but I think it'll be rate driven. And then you're going to get absorption in the inventory, and then you're going to have nothing behind it. So 25 and 26 are going to be a little bit crazy, I would bet, unless the rates get turned back up, which they could, right? But at that point, when we start getting that absorption coming in, those developers are going to step in and start developing. They're not going to be able to deliver homes until 27. So we're going to go from no absorption and flat deliveries to a ton of absorption at one point and 2 years wait for new deliveries on new inventory. So wasn't great at calculus. This is just basic math. I'm good at that. So this is adding and subtracting. How many new homes are being delivered? What's our absorption rate? When is the absorption rate going to go up? When rates go down? And where is the new inventory coming from? Nowhere for a couple years. And when those intersect and that absorption sucks up all of the available inventory, you don't want to be in that position. And there's ways to get you in now. Get your closing costs paid for, get your down payment paid for, or if you've got 20% down and want to jump in, the water's fine too. We can really use somebody with 20% down, and it's to your advantage to have saved that. But sitting on that savings, not having it do anything, and waiting for this magic rate drop is probably one of the worst decisions you're going to look back on. And mark my words, we're talking February of 2024. I don't have a crystal ball. Rates could bump back up to 8%, 9%, who knows? I don't think it will, only because our country can't even debt service itself if we do not lower interest rates. The interest rates that affect your house affect everything in the world. And so we are spending on Ukraine, we are spending on the COVID money we spent. We are spending ourselves into an insane amount of debt. And we're about to hit a parabolic piece where as these rates have reset, our country won't be able to cover our own debt if we don't lower the effective interest rate. And so that's why I think we're going to see a lowering of the interest rate, because we're not in a sustainable economy if we don't figure that out. So anyway, I went a little bit in the weeds. Hopefully that was understandable. Basically, no sweat off for us if you just want to call us and have a chat. We are just in the education business. It's funny, people ask me like, why are you so successful? What's your secret sauce? And I don't know if you know me personally, I'll tell you my backstory, but I was an educator. I feel like I'm still in education, and I offer enthusiastic education that's backed by data. I've never sold anything in my life. I've never sold a house. If I can offer the best education to my buyers and sellers, I will have more buyers and sellers. And I offer the best education, and then people turn into buyers and sellers when they're ready. But I'm trying to use every bit of analysis that I've seen over the last 15 years, what the markets have done, what interest rates are doing currently, what absorption rates are, to offer you the best education. Worst case, let's have a call. Let's figure out where you are right now and see what works for you. So this is specifically to folks, kids who are in college, graduating college. Talk to your parents, people that are working at your first jobs. We are here to help you. this is something we can do. And if your parents want to buy a $10 million lake house, we can do that as well. Anyway, hopefully that was helpful, and take care. Hope to talk to you soon.